You're probably already aware about Curse of the Vampire Coast, the next DLC for Total War Warhammer 2, but was a whole DLC based on pirates the right choice? So if you're not excited yet, then it's time to walk the plank and jump into the ocean of hype. This DLC will continue the precedent started by Rise of the Tomb Kings, which removed the underplayed mini-campaigns and replaced it with 4 new legendary lords with a new faction mechanic. The first new lord on offer will be Archgrand Commodore Luthor Harkon. For centuries, he ruled the stretch of Lustrian shore known as the Vampire Coast, but while assaulting a hidden Slan chamber, powerful glyphs rebounded Harkon's sorcery, shattering his mind and severing him from the winds of magic. Harkon's multiple personalities now battle for dominance, but they have one common goal: to plunder the sacred sites of the Lizardmen and use the power of Slan artifacts to break his curse and heal his damaged mind. He'll do this from aboard his personal flagship, the Dread Abyssal, and will start the Vortex campaign on the Vampire Coast, and will start in the same position on the Mortal Empires map, giving him easy access to the Slan he hates so much. For unique abilities, Harkon will draw upon his thousands of years of experience to bolster the leadership of his depth guard and zombie deckhands, as well as increasing hero capacity for vampire fleet captains. But while he was violently severed from the Winds of Magic, he will now have increased magic resistance and reduce the Winds of Magic starting amount for enemy armies. An expert gunner, he'll increase missile damage for both himself and his zombie gunnery, giving his bullets an extra explosive punch. And sometimes during his madness, he'll have brief moments of lucidity, where he remembers the great warrior he once was, and it serves to increase Harkon's armor and melee defense. But that same fractured mind can sometimes lead to unpredictable benefits, and allows him to unleash destructive frenzies against his enemies as well as increasing his leadership. But regardless of his mental state, Luthor Harkon's reign as the Pirate King of the Vampire Coast is undisputed, and as such, pirates both dead and undead will flock to his banner, reducing unit upkeep for Harkon's army and increasing his global recruitment capacity. Each of the pirate lords will have a final mount they can unlock. Harkon can take to the skies amid a fearsome death shriek terrorgeist and rain down fear. They'll also have access to individual unique items, acquired through questing. Harkon will seek Slan Gold, a filthy coin that reduces the cost of raising the dead, increases magic resistance, and reduces the Winds of Magic starting amount for enemy armies. All in all, he continues the trend started by Creative Assembly, where each lord will have a specific tailored playstyle, with Harkon acting as an expert duelist. With bonuses to damage, slight defense, and magic resistance, he'll be the hero killer of this expansion, who uses his zombie deckhands to tie up the enemy army. But where Harkon is the cannon, Count Noctilus is the fort. The former Nicholas von Carstein of Sylvania, he was drawn to the maelstrom at the heart of the ocean, where he performed a mighty ritual to transport himself, his castle, and all his undead minions to the Galleon's Graveyard, a mystical place where wrecks and hulks of the sea are drawn. Reborn as Count Noctilus, he raised the shattered remains of sunken warships to form the hull of his personal craft, the Bloody Reaver, and now rides the waves of the mortal seas once more. Noctilus will begin both the Mortal Empires and Vortex campaign in a newly added location in the center of the ocean, the Galleon's Graveyard, which gives him the ability to strike anywhere he pleases, and leaves none safe from his Dread Fleet. As the undisputed leader of the Dread Fleet, he'll be able to increase Lord recruitment rank faction-wide. Drawing upon the energy of the depths, he has preternatural powers of regeneration that extend beyond merely himself and increase the replenishment rate and recruitment capacity of his army, regenerating the hull of his warship, allowing him to pursue his true goal, plundering. As any good pirate is really just a seaborne vandal at heart. He'll increase horde growth for his ship as well as income gained from raiding and sacking settlements. Noctilus has found a way to harness the curse of the Galleon's Graveyard, and now uses it for his own gain, increasing the leadership and melee defense of his depth guard, deck droppers, and terrorgeist. Count Noctilus and his fleet are infamous for their terrible tenacity, considered an invincible fleet, which results in the leadership of his army being increased and making Noctilus himself unbreakable. On top of all this, Noctilus's former life as Nicholas von Carstein means he is well versed in striking terror in the hearts of his foes, as well as regenerating in the face of seemingly insurmountable injuries. The final mount he can unlock is the Necrofex Colossus, a giant grotesque rotting bulk of man, monster, and ship, fused together with unholy powers and given cannon arms. His unique item is Captain Roth's Moondial, a strange trinket that gives increased movement and line of sight on the campaign map, as well as the ability to summon zombie deckhands in the middle of battle. Count Noctilus's appetite for conquest allows him to gain war declaration missions, with unique rewards that rapidly swell his rank, as well as increased recruitment capacity for his pirate crew, and the ability to recruit Necrofex Colossi more often. Noctilus benefits from reduced upkeep for Necrofex Colossi, in addition to increased weapon strength for any monstrous units under his command. And the buffs to his regeneration and defense make him one of the tankiest lords in the game, so expect him to hold the line as his giant Necrofex Colossi do their work. Aranessa Saltspite is the outlier for these undead legendary lords, as she's not undead, she's actually a mutant. The Queen of Tides is one of the most respected and feared pirate captains of Sartosa. Some say she is the daughter of the sea god MANAAN himself. Now, many a sea-bloated corpse washes up against the swordfish's hull, her personal vessel. And so the vampire first mates breathe on life into them, creating a vast rabble of loyal crew. She'll begin her campaign on the Mortal Empire maps on her home island of Sartosa, but when it moves back to the Vortex campaign, she'll be moved to an island just to the south, as it didn't quite fit on the edge of the map. As part of the living realm rather than the undead, she commands a human pirate crew known as the Sartosa Free Company. She'll have an inspiring presence and aura of leadership that increases the weapon strength and melee attack of our Sartosa Free Company. Saltspite's ruthlessness earns her additional income from raiding and sacking settlements, as well as increasing her chance of finding treasure maps. As the favorite of MANAAN, she gains keen knowledge of rotting Prometheans and rotting Leviathans, which allows her reduced upkeep over the creatures of MANAAN and improves their missile resistance. As a mutant, Aranessa Saltspite may not be undead, but she is far from human, with the inherent resilience of her warped form increasing her hit points and making her immune to fatigue. These same mutations have left her with 2 sawfish bills as peg legs. Wickedly serrated, they increase her armor and weapon strength in battle. As a gifted sailor, her mastery of the waves brings many benefits, increasing the leadership of her Sartosa Free Company units, as well as increasing her army's movement and replenishment rates. She's also a formidable self-taught gunner, and increases the ammunition of all types of cannons, the carronades, mortars, and Queen Bess when part of her army. Her reputation as one of Sartosa's most formidable pirate captains is well earned, and her notoriety boosts her melee attack and gives her a ward save in addition to increasing plunder gained from encounters at sea. She'll be able to unlock the Rotting Promethean, a giant crustacean, as her personal mount, and there are few sights more terrifying than an Aranessa Saltspite riding into battle on a giant rotting crab. Her personal weapon will be Kraken's Bane, which bestows Aranessa Saltspite with an aura that increases the melee attack of friendly units, as well as giving them a bonus when facing large foes. Saltspite will combine the use of large crab and Leviathan units with increased gunpowder capacity, leading to a front line of heavily armored crabs that will pin the enemy army in place while it's picked apart by heavy cannons. The last new lord on offer is also arguably the most interesting, as she represents the first new character ever created by Creative Assembly apart from the game's workshop. The Mistress of the Deep, Silostra Direfin, the legendary sea witch who was once the favorite court singer of the Bretonnian king. She was sent out on a voyage across the ocean to sing for the Phoenix King, but was hit by a fierce storm. When the captain decided to turn back, the madam's notes turns to screams of fury as she threw the man overboard and took command of the vessel, sailing it into the storm, where everyone on board drowned. Decades later, a Bretonnian galleon of rotten wood and tattered sails can be seen navigating the seas even in the most savage of storms. It is the Lamprey, the ship of the vengeful spirit Madame Silostra and her crew, the Drowned. Direfin and her crew will begin their campaigns on the western side of the map, beginning in Nagaroth in both the Mortal Empires and Vortex campaigns. Silostra Direfin's real unique skill will be the ability to call forth spectral Bretonnian knights bound to her will, summoning a unit of damned knights errant who can be upgraded to either damned questing knights or damned knights of the realm. And with the ability to summon countless lost souls from the depths, she'll have reduced costs to raising the dead and increase the recruitment rank of her army. She'll be well versed in harnessing the hatred required to master Morngul Haunters and increase their hero capacity and recruitment rank. But the Fiery Diva is a prima donna in more ways than one, and it works in her favor by reducing the cooldown of casting cost for overcast spells. The creatures under Silostra Direfin's direction are as resilient as they are terrifying, with increased physical resistance for SIREN, Morngul, and bloated corpses, which also have greatly reduced upkeep. A Siren of the Storm, the powerful Sea Witch will benefit from reduced miscast base chance for overcast spells, as well as increased Winds of Magic power reserves. Her final mount to unlock will be the Rotting Leviathan, which she can ride into battle in horrible ghostly splendor. Her unique item will be the Bordello Flabellum, an ornate ceremonial fan that increases public order in all provinces and vampiric corruption in local provinces. It also grants Silostra a passive ability that reduces ability recharge whenever she casts a spell. As the Mistress of the Deep, Silostra Direfin's very presence increases the loyalty of new recruits while also reducing the upkeep and recruitment costs for Mournguls and Sirens faction-wide. She'll also offer the loyal followers in her army increased physical resistance while also enabling magical attacks. This makes her uniquely suited to be the caster lord for this expansion, giving her access to spectral units with high AP and a new kamikaze unit, the Global Corpse. With each legendary lord bringing their own unique playstyle and different units to specialize in, you'll find out quickly they are not the same. There's also a few interesting things to note. On the combined Mortal Empires reveal map available on Total War Academy, you'll notice that an entire new right third has been added to the map. It may be blank now, but just expect that to be filled up with the Chaos Waste come Warhammer 3, and gives a good idea of just how large the new combined map will be. Noctilus's last ability, of the von Carstein line, hints at the free overhaul coming for the Vampire Counts faction, implying that vampire bloodlines will be added to the legendary lords, each giving their own unique benefits. But the real question is, how do you feel about this DLC? Is it something you're excited to play? But I'll be curious what you guys say below. Curse of the Vampire Coast will come out in early November, and it's available for pre-order now. And as always, thanks for watching.